I'm gonna complete the pre-market action plan real quick, and then I'll pop on. We'll go through everything as per usual. As you guys know, if you're tuning into the YouTube stream, well, if you probably don't know, but best out for the week, so that's why we started a little bit later today, just because, you know, start when I come on every single day anyways, just because she is out. So but let me pop this the screen share up in just a second. I'll hammer the rest of this out. Gonna be a big day, gonna be interesting, a lot of stuff going on. Let's get this up. Couple pretty big movers on those earnings, I guess. That PAYC, what a freaking move on that. Almost 100 points. Looks like almost about 40% as well. Almost done here, guys. Actually, it's running a video up on the board as well. It's because I like the look of that. Discord is. Just once a little bit, and then we'll start ripping through it. I guess give me a couple minutes here and I'll pop on. Just gonna quickly just rip out the rest of these just typing here. All right, then we'll go as we usually go. Almost done here, guys. Just ripping through the last two things. And then we'll get going. I am. Okay, so if you guys are new to chat, ever done so, make sure you click on that Discord link that is emailed to you. You pop into chat, it's gonna look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, click on that disclaimer section, give it a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section at the top and scroll to the very, very top of the section. Top of the section, you see a link to the disclaimer as well as this bold risk reward section. Super important to understand both in regards to risk reward, guys. Most important ratio in trading, so definitely worth checking out there. Continue to scroll down. We have the summary of how this chat works. Pretty sure all the channels work on the left-hand side, so you can properly navigate the chat through the day. That is important, so you know where to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options and equity side, breaking down how to interpret what we're saying on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, the options rules that we like to use Monday to Thursday for the options ideas in the options chat. So definitely we're checking out there if you're following along on that. SPX rules that we use every single day are right below there. Continue to scroll down. Any of the small account less than 10K, breaking down if you have a smaller account less than 10K, some rules, information, discipline you can put in place to have a better chance of growing that account in our opinion. And then last but not least, how to pick ideas from an options or equity standpoint. All right, let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. A couple different things. Pre-market tickers on watch. So testing the NVIDIA, gapping up, specifically the market POIC, gapping down worse than expected earnings, cuts revenue and EBITDA forecasts. Just take a look at those earnings. They're pretty ugly, guys. Slab silicon lab beats by 0.01, beats on revs, guides Q4 EPS below consensus, revs in line. Gap and down on that. CRSP up on favorable FDA panel meeting, and then TGTX provides business update and reports third quarter 2023 fiscal results, gapping up decently on their earnings as well. All right, let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. Oh, well, that's why I gotta exit that. All right, so first two we're looking at today, guys. We got a test on the video. Let's look at these first. Go from there. All right, so Tesla, guys, coming off the lows, EMA support reclaiming, all that good stuff. I'm going to use that 201.56 as the pivot level, holds 204.76, 208.07. If that breaks, 210.97 will be tested there. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards that 196.37 to the 191.59 on the downside. You'd be leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push higher if the pivot point is able to hold. That's Tesla. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. It's weird, I don't have any levels in the chart. Okay. Show me this is all marked up. Should be good. So it's back above its monthly range. It did reclaim it yesterday, which is good to see. Pivot to the upside today, 409.84 levels able to hold. We do have room for continuation of 417.86 to 422.54, and able to hold 404.72, 398.16 downside. I am leaning bullish on the name, looking for a continuation push higher. If we can get above that pivot and hold. So 409.84 gave you the key level this morning. I think the fact that it dipped below that monthly range and held it. I mean, we had a great buy spy on it yesterday, so that was sweet. But the fact that it was able to do that is quite bullish. Now, of course, things can change today, but just the way I'm leaning for now. That's the NVIDIA. Let's take a look at PYC and the slab. So PYC, guys, nice big gap down there. Pivot to the downside today, guys. 151.12 levels able to hold 162.92 to 174.96. Unable to hold 139.22 to 126.13 downside, leaning on the bearish neutral side today, looking for continuation lower if the pivot point is unable to hold. All right, slab here, gapping down, $60. $69.50 pivot levels able to hold 73.05 to 76. 20, unable to hold 64.53 to 61.84 on the downside. You're going to be leaning on the bearish side today, looking for continuation lower on that name. That is SLAB. Let's take a look at the next two names. Crisp and TGTX. All right, 42.69 pivot levels able to hold 44.76, 46.18 to 47.99. Unable to hold 40.95 to 39.10 on the downside overall. And Chris going to be leaning bullish. We're looking for a continuation brand higher there. Don't like the chart, looks pretty good. Don't mind the chart, sorry, looks pretty good. I think we can push off the lows in continuation today. And then this TGTX, which again, another decent looking chart. Coming off lows. Got quite a bit of room there. So 932 pivot level holds 1010. If that level breaks, we do have room for continuation into the. Let's just see here. 1182. Unable to hold. We got room back towards the 843 to the 773 on the downside. Going to be leading on the bullish neutral side there as well, looking for a continuation push higher. Let's take a look at the spine of the Fang. I'm just going to screenshot these bad boys. There we go. That's crisp. That is TGTX. All right. Let's take a look at the spine of the Fang, my friends. Uh, 417.38 level holds, 419.29 to 421.70. Unable to hold for 1598, 414.23. No, market's coming off the lows. It did reclaim a monthly pivot point yesterday, which was the 418.15 level, which I actually should label. So it's big ass level. Here we go. That's going to be fine. So we actually use that as a pivot. So 418.18 pivot to the upside today. Levels able to hold. 419.29, 421.70, unable to hold 417.38, 415.28 downside. Leaning bullish neutral, looking for a continuation push higher if the pivot point is able to hold. So that is the market. Let's take a look at Apple. $171.15 pivot level holds 171.97 to 173.02. Unable to hold 170.32 to 169.15 on the downside. Going to be leaning bullish, neutral, looking for a continuation push higher. Let's take a look at Amazon. All right, Amazon 133.55 pivot level holds. You get rid towards 134.55 and 135.52. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback into the 130.48 on the downside, leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push higher. Let's take a look at Netflix. Four 12.78 pivot levels able to hold 418.74 to 429.61. Unable to hold 406.82 to 398.97 on the downside. Game leading a bullish neutral on that. Some decent looking charts on the bigger caps. That kind of set up, but we'll see whether or not the market wants to continue. Meta. Meta's not as pretty. Leaning a little bit more on the bearish side here. 304.50 pivot, unable to hold. We get room towards 298.67 to 293.31. Able to hold, we actually got a little bit of room if we get to that 50 MA. To 310.79 to 316.39 on the upside. But like I said, it could be leaning a little bit more on the bearish neutral side there for now. Let's take a look at Google. All right, 125.26 pivot level holds 127.02 to 129.27. Unable to hold 124.06 to 122.51 downside. Meaning on the bullish neutral side today, if we can get above that pivot. So that is the SPY, the FANG, and the individual names we're looking at today. I got a couple more minutes. So let's do some more VIX, Qs, and IWM. Let's go to the intraday on the VIX. So VIX is a little extended to the downside into the 50 MA, but you know, this VIX can hold extensions to the downside without bouncing. Talked about that many times. That pivot right now is going to be 18.11, unable to hold 17.73 to $17, able to hold 18.63 to 19.29 on the upside will be tested. Overall, the VIX not leading any particular direction, but using it for direction on the market. So definitely always important to keep that up if you're going to be trading the SPY or SPX or any of the big caps for that matter. QQQs. All right, pivot here, 350.62 level holds, 355.26, 358.63, unable to hold, 346.50 to 341.38 downside, going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side there today if the pivot point's able to hold. And last but not least, guys, the SPX. So SPX 41.88 pivot level holds 42.12, 42.32, unable to hold 41.65 and 41.28 downside. And I'll be leaning on the bullish neutral side there today as well. A little downtrend break, EMA support reclaim. We got some more room to bounce, in my opinion, back towards the longer term EMA support, or I should say resistance on the upside, and just go from there. Alrighty, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass over to South Beach while I type up the pre-market action plan, and then we'll do a quick little recap for the open. South Beach ready? She's all yours for now, my friend.
Okay, hey guys. All right, let's see what we got today. All right, Franklin goes first. Any change there? Probably not. Okay, so S&Ps look like they are trying to bounce off the bottom. They were kind of sort of oversold. And on the 50-day, it's kind of sitting on the 50-week moving average. We do have that 1017 cross, so I'm kind of on the look. November is generally a good month, and I'm kind of hoping they rally a little bit. But we'll see. Okay, the technicals are still, they're oversold. That's the best thing about them. All right, and we'll see if they can hold. I think a lot of the movement, unfortunately, is geopolitical. But we'll talk about it in a minute. Anyway, the Qs, pretty similar to the S&Ps, a little bit better. They still have the 150-week, 100-week way below. They bounced off the 50-week. Technically, they're in better shape than any of the other averages. And it looks like they broke the down channel, so that's kind of positive. Then we go to the transports, which have had a couple of good days. They really got destroyed. I think it was down 6.1% last week alone. So they broke the down channel. They were deeply oversold, but they still have no EMA support on either the weekly or the daily. And I don't know how you can get bullish on this chart. It looks kind of shitty. And the last one is the Russell. How's that thing? There it is. All right, and that one is it's kind of like looks a little bit like the transports, except this one's worse. All right, this one traded at a 3-year low, I think, on Friday. Chart is terrible, oversold, so they can bounce, and that's really the story. Okay, so that's the technicals. Let's look at the bond market today. See what we got. We saw the refunding news got the market bouncing, right? It was a little better than expectations, or less worse, however you want to look at it. Pretty much the bond market is dead flat from yesterday, okay? 10 years at 4.878, 2 years at 5.06, and pretty much unchanged. I mean, that's all you can say. And we have the Fed meeting today at 2 o'clock. The story goes that he's going to do nothing, but the verbiage will be what we watch. Okay, so the spread, doesn't really matter that much anymore. 18 basis point inversion, which is really the lowest we've seen for a very long time. And rates are pretty much quiet across the board. In Europe, they're up a little bit, but only marginally and not significant. Okay. Our commodities, we got oil bouncing 2 bones today, but still staying in that 80-90 range. And that's that. Natural gas has held that breakout level. Gold has been pretty good on the long side for a while now, challenging to highs. And the agricultural commodities have been very quiet. Currency, again, very quiet. Dollar's down against North America, down a little against the yen. The yen has gotten pretty hit as of the last, few years to say. Okay, it was trading at 75 to the dollar. Now it's 151. So gives you some sense of how things have changed. Hold on a minute. Pound, the Chinese currency, it's up a little against China, but it's these with the exception of the yen, really, none of this shit has really moved in a fairly long time. So currency market is super quiet. Bitcoin's up 0.5%. There was some talk late in the day yesterday about a bunch of big guys getting behind the BlackRock ETF for Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. And Coinbase is dead flat. Solana has been the best one, right? It's up another 3% today. I'm sorry, 8% today, $3. So this thing has really been probably the best performing of anything, 17 to 39 in a hurry. And Scaramucci said last night it's the best October I think he's ever had, or maybe best month he's ever had. And he had been long a lot of Solana and Bitcoin as well. So that's where he's coming from. And last but not least, let's check the foreign markets. So we have FTSE up 0.3, DAX up the same. Nikkei had a good day, up 2.5%. China's flat, Hong Kong's flat. Taiwan is up 0.2. Okay. So what's the big thing going on here? We got the Fed meeting today, okay, at 2:00. And it's the Q&A and the statement that everybody's going to be focusing on. Remember, the first move is usually the wrong move. So we have really two trading days today. We have the first one in the morning, and then we have post. We have the post FOMC meeting for the second part of the day. So we have that. All right. China, Russia, we'll talk about it in a minute. Crypto, we discussed. Mr. Market yesterday. What was good yesterday? Let's see. I think it was, I don't want to talk out of term. So I rarely say anything unless I'm positive. Anyway, MedTech was good. HMOs were good. Home builders were pretty good. And China and gold and silver. The rest of the stuff was kind of like choppy. So we've had a lot of chop in the market as of late. Okay. What's his name was on again this morning. I'm trying to find my notes from it. I know I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, is this it? Yeah. Okay. So Druckenmiller was on again this morning. And basically, you know, what I discussed yesterday is really the key. I mean, basically, his argument is we've spent too much. Entitlements are going to go from what are they now? 44% of so let me just get this right so I don't misinform you guys. Interest expenses going to go there, 6% of disposable income. It's going to go up to like 30% of our disposable income over the next 20 years. Basically, he's saying entitlements are completely out of control. And if we don't do something, we're going to be in big trouble. Yeah, with twins, you know, that's really the crux of it. Okay. The entitlement situation. He says all these guys come on and they run for election and they basically say something to the effect that we're not going to cut entitlements. The fact of the matter is they have no choice. And as a nation, we'll have no money to spend on anything unless this changes. That's basically his argument. Okay. He also sees the market PE at 20. He says normal should be 15. And that's if things are, relatively good. So he's saying things are not relatively good. The balance sheet of the US is a freaking joke. And 20 times earnings can't last long. So he thinks, it's a stock picker's market. He says there are going to be a bunch of things that do well. But he says, as far as the S&P is concerned at 20 times earnings, it's problematic. Okay, that's basically his synopsis. All right, he's along the short end of the curve because he thinks the curve's going to go back to 150 basis points. So factually, he says the long end of the curve ain't through going up. That's really his stand. And he thinks he went after Janet Yellen again for being a dope. By not doing what he should have done, which is go out on the curve from 2s to 10s, she's costing us 120 billion a year effectively. That was the number he was throwing out there, which is pretty insane. Paul Tudor, I said I would get to some of these other guys. Okay. Paul Tudor Jones basically echoing the same situation. We have a debt problem in this country. He doesn't think it's coming down anytime soon. 20% of your dollars goes to repay debt. fiscal problem is clear. We need to remedy the situation. We have to address it head on, and no one has the nutsack to do it. Geopolitical situation is problematic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that was Paul Tudor Jones. I'll try to hit one of these guys every day. Okay, let's go see if there's any news here. I mentioned that. Bank of America worried about a sluggish holiday season. Microsoft is selling this thing that goes, it's called Copilot AI. It goes with your emails and documents. Russia-Kiev situation keeps getting worse. The most attacks ever in a day this year, I should say, ever, the most attacks in one day this year came yesterday against Ukraine. And the Israeli situation, you see what's going on there. It's a complete shit show. And if you guys don't think the two have anything to do with each other, okay, I need you, if you can, you should write this down and you should watch this. The son of the guy who started Hamas was on Fox News. He has a YouTube thing. His name is Mossab, M-O-S-A-B, Hassan Youssef, Y-O-U-S-E-F, and he was interviewed, and it's worth watching. Okay. His argument, just to conclude, if you don't have the time to watch, is basically Ukraine and Israel, and what they really want is to come into the US. And this is the son of the guy who started Hamas. I suggest you watch it. You may not agree with him. It may not be to your political liking. You may agree with him. You may not agree with him. But whatever, to become an educated person, you should watch what this guy has to say. He was in an Israeli prison for a while. All right. You should watch it. You watch. And you want me? Does anybody want me to write his name? Because I think it's like a 10-minute thing. I guess no one gives a shit. Oh, here we go. Someone cares. I'll write it down. Hold on. I was mortified by it, quite frankly, but not surprised. I did mute myself. Thanks, buddy. I think it's worth watching. Twins has probably seen it already. But Twins, if you didn't see it, you have to watch this guy. It's really interesting. Okay, Splunk is cutting 7% of its workforce. SBF, the trial goes to the case goes to the jury. This guy is going to get life, in my opinion. JetBlue Save deal. That's really problematic, guys, because both these companies are in real big trouble. That's the story. But that Authentic Brands is someone else is trying to buy Champion from HBI, and that's that. Let's see. What else? Let's go to earnings. Okay. So we had on the good side, AMD actually was kind of in line. I thought that was pretty decent considering the other ones. We had FTD, Frank, Tom, David, Robert was good. Wingstop was good. What else? Fizzler was good. We had letter W, which was is down a little bit, but it didn't look that bad. Generac had a decent quarter. Caesars, which is a company that I had slated to buy end of the year, which I've discussed with you guys. There's a bunch of them, Lance, but the one I'm really referring to was called How to Stop the End of World War III. Okay. So there's a few of them, but that's the one that I watched last night. It may be the same because I can't see the small. Yeah, it looks the same. I think you're right. I think you got the right one, Lance. Sorry, I'm looking at the picture. He's wearing the same shirt. So you got it right. Thanks, pal. So there you go, guys. Lance was kind enough to put it on there for you. Thank you, buddy. Okay, turning to earnings again. The some of the movement on the downside is really quite extraordinary. Okay, let's PAYC down 37%, slab 26, BGFV 17, EXTR 17, ST Lauder 15, and you see Alta down in sympathy with it, right? MTZ 15, Yum China down 14, Goose down 10, Match down 10, Huntsman down 4, IQV 5, etc., etc. Humana down 3%. CVS is down a little bit on earnings too, $3. So that whole theory that maybe it's turning around, maybe not. What else was kind of crummy? This WE looks like they're going to file for bankruptcy. That'll be the second time, I think. Ulta, so some of these, I had been short ST Lauder too. I've been trading it from the short side. It looks so terrible, and now you get the big drop. So that's that one. Let's see. Maybe I can get. How much time do I have? 2 minutes. Maybe I can get to one of these other guys. Love you. Bye. You're not coming back? All right. Let's see if I Tepper. This is QT, not QE. So he sees money coming out of the system. He thinks the PE at 20 times is too high. He thinks long end of the curve goes to 6%. And that's his opinion. Tomorrow I'll talk about Dalio and Ackman and Ken Griffin. Okay. And did I do Rick Reader yet, guys? I don't think I did. Let's see. Did I? I think, who did I just do? I think I just might have done Rick Reader, right? I did. All right. So that's what these guys are basically saying. Okay. They think the long end of the curve is going up. They think stocks are too high, et cetera, et cetera. And you got that geopolitical mess. But I think by and large, if the geopolitical mess were to get cleared up, I think we could have a nice rally into year end. We'll see how that goes. Then we have the stalemate in Congress, and we have this whole situation with entitlements that needs to get addressed. Okay, if we don't address these things, it's only going to get worse. Basically, the argument of Stan Druckenmiller, and the guy is, as far as a macro view of economic situations, I don't know anybody really better than him. He's made, tens of billions of dollars playing this game, both for George Soros and himself. He used to be there, and then he started to Kane with his own money. So the guy has a history of being right. So you got to watch that. As far as research, Morgan Stanley put the kibosh on Para. They put the target at 9. BP is a sell at JP Morgan. 6 is a sell at JP Morgan. Save, they're worried about it if there's no deal. That's at Citibank. That's it on the short side. On the long side, Barclays likes Ford and General Motors. Bernstein likes STLA, so there's the big 3. Goldman likes Boeing. That's on their conviction buy list, and that's the story. I'm out of time. I'm passing it to my friend Spartan, and it's all yours, my man.
Thank you, South Beach. All right, guys, what's up? So let's go through the pre-market stuff. Now, I did post all the notes. If you guys are in the YouTube stream, you can simply just pause it, watch it. There you go. There's that. There's all that. Okay, you can see all the charts are posted, et cetera, et cetera. So if you guys are new to chat or you've done so, make sure to click on that Discord link that's emailed to you, pop into chat. Looks a little bit like this. First share to go to disclaimer, click on that, give it a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section and scroll to the very, very top of that. Top of that section, you see a link to the disclaimer as well as this bullet risk reward section. It's important to understand both. In regards to risk reward, guys, most important ratio in trading, in my opinion, well, from a mathematical standpoint as well. If you don't skew this ratio in your favor, it's really hard to make money over the course of time unless you're right, the very large majority % of the time. So there's a lot of strength in that. Continue to scroll down. We have the summary of how this chat works, breaks all the channels work on the left-hand side, so you can probably navigate the chat throughout the day. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options and equity side, break it down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, options rules that we use Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, etc., etc. Below that, SPX rules that we use every single day. Continue to scroll down. We have anyone with a small account, less than 10K, break it down. If you have a smaller account, less than 10K, here's some rules, information, discipline you can put in place so you can better manage your account. How to pick ideas from an options or equity perspective below that. And lastly, high conviction small account trades posted in that area when they do make sense. Hopefully we get a little bit more direction shortly here, guys, and get some decent looking setups. All right, pre-market tickers on watch. What do we got going on? Tesla, NVIDIA, PAYC, SLA, BCRISP, and TGTX. So Tesla gapping up and same with the market, same with NVIDIA, PAYC gapping down on worse than expected earnings cuts, revenue, and EBITDA forecast. Slab, Silicon Lab beats by 0.01. Beats and revs, guides Q4 EPS below consensus, revs in line. CRISP Therapeutic shares rally pre-market after favorable FDA panel meeting. TGTX provides business update and reports third quarter 2023 financial results, and that's gapping up. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. So first two we're looking at, guys, today, NVIDIA and that Tesla. Both coming off the lows. Tesla reclaiming some major support levels short term. 201.56 pivot level holds, 204.76, 28.07. Unable to hold 196.37 to 191.59 on the downside, leading to bullish neutral there. NVIDIA, guys, pivot to the upside today is going to be 409.84 level holds, 417.86 to the 422.45. Unable to hold 404.72 to 398.16 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral there. Let's take a look at PAYC and slab. So PAYC pivot to the downside today, 151.12, unable to hold 139.32, 126.13, able to hold 162.92 to 174.96 on the upside. Going to be leading bearish, looking for continuation lower there. Slab pivot 69.50, unable to hold 64.53, 61.84, able to hold 73.05 to 76.20 on the upside. Going to be leading on the bearish neutral side there today if it's unable to hold as well. CRSP, TGTX. CRSP 42.69 pivot, low holds 44.76, 46.18, unable to hold 40.95 to 39.10 on the downside, leading on the bullish neutral side today if pivot can hold. And last but not least, guys, let's take a look at TGTX. 932 pivot, level holds 10.10. If that level breaks, we got room towards 11.82, unable to hold 8.43 to 43 to 774 on the downside, leading bullish neutral there of the 8. SPY pivot. Let's take a look at this, and I'm going to type this up as I usually do, my friend. So that 418.18 spot is the monthly and weekly pivot point, so it's a massive level, guys, to keep an eye on. So got to keep an eye on that. It's going to be extremely important. 418.18 holds. Pivot to the upside today, so I should say. Today, in my opinion, this level holds. From higher into the 419.29 resistance breaks. We see the 421.70 tested. Pivot. Unable to hold. Room lower into the 415. 98 support. Breaks. We see the 417, I should say, first 417.38 support, and then breaks. We see the 415. I need to test it, and of course, you got the other levels. Leaning bullish neutral. Of the gate. And then we'll see what happens, obviously, into the afternoon. Things will change, as they usually do. Okay, let's take a look at the rest of the FANG here. Apple. Pivot to the upside today. One sec, guys. I'm sure I made that so high. I think I accidentally colored that line. Shouldn't have done that. 171.15 pivot level holds, 171.97 to 173.02. Unable to hold. We look for a pullback into the 170.32 to 169.15, leaning bullish neutral there. Amazon. Pivot to the upside today, my friends. We got the 133.55 level holds 134.55, 135.52, unable to hold 131.95 to 130.48 downside, leading bullish neutral. Netflix pivot to the upside today is going to be 412.78 level holds 418.74, 429.61, unable to hold 406.82 to 398.87 downside, leading bullish neutral. Meta. 304.50 pivot levels able to hold 310.79 to 316.58, unable to hold 298.67, 293.31. I'm leaning bearish neutral, and that looks a little bit heavier than the other names. Google pivot to the upside today. 124.09 level holds 125.25 to 127.04, unable to hold 122.46, 120.22 downside, leaning bullish neutral there. Same with the VIX QZWM. VAX pivot 1811, unable to hold 1773 to 17, able to hold 1863 to 1929, not leaning any particular direction, but using it for direction on the market. QQQs 350.62 level holds 355.26, 358.63, unable to hold 346.50 to 341.38 downside, leaning bullish neutral there. SPX pivot is going to be the you guys can hear me. My mic just had a reset there. 41.88 level holds 42.12, 42.32, unable to hold 416, 41.16, sorry, to 41.28. All right, so that's that. So that's the spots thing. Those are the individual names that are we're looking at today, and we'll go from there. Now, if you guys popped in the YouTube stream, thanks for popping in. We do this every single Wednesday. Of course, we typically start a little bit earlier, but Beth's out for the week, so we're just starting, when I pop on, which is around 8:30, I guess, Eastern. So that's it. Thanks for popping in, guys. See you in chat. If you guys want to pop in, we do stream every single day from those times until the close. And yeah.